Hey there, and thank you for downloading our loan calculator. This is just going to be another quick tutorial on how best to use it. But before we get started, a quick disclaimer. This calculator is for informational purposes only and should not be considered individual investment, financial, or tax advice. In addition, for personalized advice, please consult a qualified financial professional. And so let's dive into this tutorial real quick. Right before we get started, I just want to set up the scenario that we have. This looks like an individual that has a mortgage that they took out maybe 2-3 years ago. Their current balance is $250,000. Their interest rate's 6%, and their minimum payment is $1,550 a month. So I wanted to kind of set up a realistic scenario for like a use case for this loan calculator. So we'll dive into each data cell here that you need to input. It's really fast, easy. All you really need is the last statement for whatever loan you're trying to use this calculator for, whether it be a mortgage, a home loan, a home equity line of credit, a personal loan, a student loan, or whatever. You just need the last statement, and you'll get these 3-4 data points, and then you can pick and choose kind of what you want to add to a monthly payment or a lump sum, and then the calculator does all the rest of the work for you. So it's pretty simple to use. We'll go through it here as quickly as possible. First thing, loan name. You don't even need to do anything with this here, but if you were going to try to see what this looked like for multiple different loans, maybe you want to save multiple spreadsheets. I just have it here so that you can easily track it. Here's one important thing to mention. I have it down here in best practices, but this calculator should only be used with loans that have a fixed rate. So no variable rate mortgages. A HELOC wouldn't work here. A home equity line of credit that has a fixed rate, like a second position mortgage or something else like that would work. But a HELOC that has a variable rate that changes with interest rates wouldn't work for this. But things like a fixed rate student loan would work. Personal loans, business loans, anything that has a fixed rate for the period of time would work for this. So just keep that in mind. The first thing that you're going to need to enter is your balance owed. Again, you just get this from your last statement, either in paper form, online. If you can't find your last statement, you can always call the lender that holds this loan or this obligation for you, and they'll be able to provide real-time data on all of this information for you as well. So balance owed goes right here. Your current interest rate, whatever that is, whether it's 6%, 6.5, 2%, 10%, whatever that is, and then your minimum payment. From there, if all you want to do is use this calculator to see this information right here, which basically shows you the amount of total interest that you're going to pay and the total amount of payments that you're going to have to make, the amount of monthly payments you have to make, then that's all set. You don't have to input any more data on here. In addition, you can scroll down and you can see the amortization table, which will take that data that you inputted and show you every single one of your payments all the way through the life of the loan. And as you can see here with the front-loaded interest, you pay a significant amount of interest and very little principal early on in these long-term amortized loans. And then that balance flips over time. You download this calculator, I'm assuming that you wanted to kind of see what an extra monthly payment or one lump sum payment is going to do to the impact of your loan over time. And so that's what we're going to dive into right now. So keeping with our scenario where the balance owed is $250,000, minimum payments $1,550 a month with a 6% interest, it looks like the payoff date here is going to be roughly September of 2052. So somewhere in the ballpark of like 27 years from now. Let's see what an extra monthly payment would do. So this person thinks that they can probably put together $250 a month towards this mortgage to really try to accelerate paying this off early and saving themselves interest over that term. So let's put $250 in here. Again, the calculator does all the rest pretty quick. You can see now it updates right here with the extra monthly payment. Now the loan payoff date is roughly January of 2045, saving somewhere in the ballpark of 6.5, 7.5 years here, with the equivalent of 92 total payments saved. And you can see here this next blue arrow, $82,471.42 saved by paying an extra $250 a month. So you can see here, it's very, very material. Instead of paying $510,000 over the life of this loan, they paid $427,000 over the life of the loan by adding $250 extra a month. You can play with this number a little bit. Maybe you can only put $100 towards it and you want to put the other 150 towards investments or something else like that. You change it to 100 and it will upload. You can see here that that's still a material amount of money. In other words, you're saving $41,000 just by adding $100 a month onto your extra or onto your minimum payment each month. And then if you scroll down, there's some visuals here. It just takes this data up here and makes it visual for you so you can really see. And then the amortization table below gets updated as well. You can see your payment now is $1,650 because you add an extra 100 on, and then you can kind of see as time goes on where your loan sits year by year. I'll just kind of scroll down a little bit so you can see this, but this automatically populates for you. And it's really interesting as you start looking at it. You can see, 24 months, I'm 2 years in, and with an extra 100 payment, now I'm down to just under $240,000, and so on and so forth. You can keep taking a look at these. Let's scroll back up here and talk about a few other things. If you didn't see it here in the blue arrow, I put it right here in big green. That represents savings. A couple other things I want to point out to you here. We can change this to a lump sum. So the lump sum would represent you got an inheritance, or you came into a lump sum of cash by selling, some sort of other investment, maybe a big bonus at work, maybe an inheritance, things like that. You just switch this in the drop down right here to lump sum. It'll go ahead and switch all of these calculations over here. So a lump sum of, let's call it $20,000 that you came into one way or another. Let's see what kind of impact that has. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. Lump sum means that you're going to pay that $20,000 or whatever number you put in here on the very next monthly payment. That's how this calculator works. You can see here by taking that $20,000, dumping it onto your mortgage, it's going to save you 58 payments over the long term. So that's almost 5 full years. It will shave off of your mortgage. In addition, that represents $69,000 that it will save you by throwing on that $20,000 lump sum that you have onto your mortgage. And so it's pretty neat to play around with this. I do have another calculator that we have out as a resource as well, which is a should I pay off my loan or should I invest calculator. And so what that does in a scenario is says I have $20,000. Should I put it towards my mortgage or should I invest it in the stock market or something else like that? And that's another calculator. So there'll be links to that in the description below. Make sure you check those out. But for this calculator, that's it in a nutshell. You can play around with this in a lot of different scenarios. Just keep in mind the main drivers of this calculator as far as needle movers on the amount would be the obviously the extra money that you're going to put towards it, but in addition, the interest rate. So if this interest rate was a lot lower, I'll move this back to monthly payments because that's more realistic for most people here. We'll put that back to $250 extra a month. We'll get that calculation. You can see here the impact by having a 6% mortgage in this example. By paying an extra $250, they're going to shave off a lot of time, 92 months, and they're going to save themselves $82,000. But if, let's say, they got their mortgage 3-4 years prior to that, and it was really only a 3% mortgage, you'll see here, and it might be intuitive to you, but I just want to show you visually here that by paying an extra $250 a month on a 3% mortgage over that period of time, it's only going to save you about 3 years on that mortgage, and it's only going to save you about $13,000, and that's because the interest rate is so much lower, so the impact of that extra payment isn't as high. That doesn't mean you shouldn't make that extra payment if that's what you're looking to do. I just want you to see kind of what the big needle movers are while you're looking at that. So obviously, like a used car that you have that has an 8 or 9 or 10% interest or something else like that, extra payments have a more material impact on them in that scenario. But that's the loan calculator in a nutshell. Again, there's tons of other resources on the website, like a budget template, an estate planning checklist, a should I pay off my loan or should I invest calculator, a traditional investment calculator, and even a student loan calculator / tracker. So check out the website. Other than that, Take care.